Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. If you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator, but I don't have to be. I am here to share my love of paper crafting with you in YouTube land. So, here we go. We're going to be doing a card based on this layout. This was my sample plan. I need to learn to do this on quarter sheets and not a full card. Anyways, and we're going to be using a stamp set that most people would not associate doing a card with, and that is called limited edition. Most people look at this and think of, okay, that goes on the back of the card. But I'm going to show you that's not the case. Kind of challenged myself stepping out of my comfort zone, but it's got great sentiments. It's got a one of a kind, and you could do for you, to a one of a kind, and don't ink up the creation. Made with love for you, just for you, a one of a kind creation. Just ink up the just for you. A paper hug from me. I love this. So we're going to be using this one, the limited edition with the flower. A paper hug from me, made with love and just for you. Excuse me. And we're going to be using handcrafted from the heart. And we're going to be using a one-of-a-kind creation on the back of our card, which most of this is designed for. So let's get started. So I am using some retired DSP. I did place my order. It is not in at the moment. It's being processed. We're going to be using the retired Sunshine and Rainbows DSP because it challenged my color schemes of what I normally would do. So let's get started. Now I have done some prep work. This is simple stamping. I've done prep work on my little flowers here. I've dimensionalized them quite a bit so they stand out because this was just a sample. We are not going to be using the tag behind. We're just going to be using the tag there. So let me get started. Here is my little flower. Yes, I fussy cut this. I'm not going to fussy cut it, but I'm going to show you how I inked it up and how I stamped it. So let me grab the flower image. So this is it. I took, for this card, for both cards we're doing, Magenta Madness, and I just colored my flower in with the side of the Stamp and Write marker. And I know this is retired, but this is one of the colors in, and it's not that too old of a retired color. Now what we can do is stamp an envelope, and I am using envelopes that need to be used here, covering up this where something was stuck on it. So we're just going to put that flower there just so you can see, and then I simply cut around it and fussy cut it. So let's clean this off because we need to do this again. So next I took another Stamp and Write marker, this time in Garden Green, because the colors on the back of the paper, I can tell you what they are. They are Bermuda Bay, Flirty Flamingo, Mingo, Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Soft Seafoam, and So Saffron. I thought the Soft Seafoam was too light of a green color. So I brought in the Garden Green. Now this one we are going to stamp and punch. So I have my good old 3/4 of an inch punch. Any circle punch that can do this is great. So I tried not to get on this ring around the flower because that would give me a halo effect. So you have a little bit and stamp. And there is our leaves and our stem. And we're going to ink it off because we're going to use the same stamp again. Next, it's going to be in Pool Party. But let's punch this out. So I took the 3/4 of an inch because the 1 inch was too big. Brought the stem down as far as I could and punched it out. Now I can put that punch in my drawer. Love those old punches. So I already have a dimensional on this, and I am simply going to peel off my little mini and put my little flower like so. Now it's ready for its next circle. You can see these are where my other circles went to. This I'm using 1 3/8 of an inch circle punch. You can use the layering circle dies, but it was quicker just to punch them out for me personally. I have the layering circle dies, but if I can use a punch over a die, I'm going to use it. So we're going to ink up the whole image, stamp, and we're inking up in Pool Party because that's the color I need. I've done, I'll go over what colors I've stamped each of these in just a moment when I have them all done. So I'm turning it around, getting a nice even border around all of my image and punch. So now that we have our Pool Party, we are going to get another dimensional. This one I'm going to use a full big one. Here. Cannot wait till my order comes in because I'm down. I think I have 1 sheet left. Now I'm going to simply line my stem up on top of stem, and there we have our flower. So we stamped the large, so we used the 1 3/4 punch for the limited edition ring around it in Pool Party twice. I did 2 times in Bermuda Bay and 2 times in Flirty Flamingo. So there's our pieces. I'm going to give this a quick clean off so it's all done and set it way aside. The other images I stamped, and we're going to be using this one next, is the Just For You, and we did that in Pool Party. I used a paper hug from me in Bermuda Bay, 2 of those because we have 2 cards we're doing. And last but not least, I have 2 of the Made with Love in Flirty Flamingo. Once again, taking colors from the back of our Designer Series paper pack. So Pool Party opening once again. Now I have a strip of paper that is, you know, a little over 2.5 inches. It's just scrap. And I'm inking up my Just For You. Now, looking at the one I did prior, I know that I want my punch to be there, so I want to stamp it at this end. I'm going to show you what else I did to have a kind of like a pattern for this. Is I took a scrap pieces of DSP. Now where did, oh, here they go. So here are my scrap pieces, just out of some scrap DSP I have. And how I went about figuring out what I was going to do is I just started playing with them. I had 4. I thought, oh, I could get, you know, another one there. But I really liked the spacing with the 3. And then I brought in a punch. I even did this little scallop punch, but that was too big and I didn't care for that. So I made it simpler. And I'm going to keep these now in my little container I have that says extra punch pieces, because when I go to do a layout, I have something, when I want to use this essential tag punch, I have something to help guide me in my layouts. It's really good to have templates, and that's all this simply is. So I'm going to set that aside, and we are going to punch this. So right there, and oh, it fit perfectly in there. So now we have our pieces. We can start to work on our card. The first one we're going to do is Pool Party, and this is for our inside pieces. You can see I have them cut. this piece, I wanted it from this end to this end, no white. So it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. So I made the inside white piece the exact same size. So these pieces are both 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Now we're going to stamp on this one. And we are going to use that Pool Party for this card because that's the color of the card base. And let's see, what are we going to put in it? Okay, handcrafted from the heart. So hopefully I get it straight. See if I can line this up on the grid. Handcrafted from the heart. I don't really care for that, so thank goodness we have two sides of the paper. Ugh. Move that aside. It just was not quite straight enough. Let's hope this is better. Much, much better. Okay. I'm going to give this a quick clean. All right. And that is done. So we are completely done with our Pool Party. This piece is simply going to get glued in, and this is just a strip from the top where I cut it off. I'll show you. And I'm like, why not use that? So we're going to use that right here at the very bottom. And I'm going to pick this up, make sure that's nice and straight, and we're going to glue this down on the inside of our card base. Little squiggles all over. And a big X in the middle, that should do it. I'm going to open my card base up and layer this inside. Next, we're going to adhere our DSP piece. We're not doing any backings to this. This is, you know, simple card making. Playing with what is available, what you have in your stash, whether it be retired or current DSP. So there we go. I love that there was no white or anything else on the edge of that, how it just kind of fades into the background. So next, this is where we're going to figure out where we want our pieces. Now, I really like the idea of doing the Just For You there, the paper hug. I think we're going to just like so. We might put Made With Love at the top. So that is my placement. Now I only did, I have one flower for each one. So we could do it like so, or make them coordinate. And I think we're going to do it just like that. And it's almost identical to this, except better. I like the little bit of bling. My aunt had some little stones laying around. I'm like, okay, I can use those. I have things coming, but like I said, had to wait. So I'm just eyeballing this. I'm going to bring it down just a smidge if I can. It will move. Next, I'm going to go and do the paper hug tag. And this was the Essential Tag Punch. Next, then, I'm going to do the center tag. And bring that right in there. And I think it's just so darling, and it really was quick, easy. Stamp, punch, stamp, punch. I did a little bit more time with these circles. You know, stamped 3 different colors. But I think the effect is absolutely so cute. And you're going to get a totally different look when you put it on our next card. We might change the layout a bit, but we're using the same pieces, same DSP, a different piece, however, same DSP package, I should say. And there is our first card. Now, I told you we were going to stamp on the back, and we are, and we're going to do it in Pool Party, and we're going to use a one-of-a-kind creation. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to stamp it sideways. And we're also going to stamp this on our envelope. There you go. I want to bring in the envelope. I'm going to stamp this in the left-hand corner, which I rarely do. But we need to cover up that little blemish on my envelope. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And let's see. Making sure I have the right piece of DSP. I have this piece of DSP, which, because this was 6 by 6, so this is simply that piece of it. And I am going to cut it right to this line here with my handy dandy guillotine. Let me get rid of this before I get ink everywhere. The fireworks last night was the 4th of July. And the fireworks, all that smoke got in my lungs, making me cough all day long. Now let me check this. Yep, that's going to work just fine. Actually, I think I'm going to put it that way. Yes. And we are going to add glue. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to add my glue like so. This is just showing me where to keep my glue in line to get it started. And then we will trim off the top. Nope, I'm going to go with that this way. I just can't do it the other way. So it's lined up. And we're going to give it a quick snippet with our paper snips. Ooh, I'm going to have to do a circle thing to cover that up too. Like I said, this was just an envelope I had laying around. My supplies are on their way. So let's see if a circle will cover it. And it will. And what do I have to do a circle out of? Well, let's just stamp that flower again. And what else but Pool Party? Or we can choose another stamp. Let's see. Yes, we're going to do this hand stamped right there. Why not? Then we will have used almost every single stamp in the stamp case. I'm looking for a block. Nope, I need a great, not a great big one, but larger than necessary. So here we go. That will cover up that blemish. And we are simply getting the hand stamped in the circle. Punch. Nobody will know anything was wrong with it. So there's our envelope. Here's our card. Cute, cute, cute. So on with our next card. I'm going to be putting that one away. We're going to be using some Flirty Flamingo. We have our elements. that we will clean off real quick. Who knew that if you don't limit yourself to what the stamps were made for, you could create such gorgeous cards? So we have a flirty flamingo card base this time. And it is our pieces. Let's see, we have them inside. Okay, this piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and so this one is the same, 3 3/4 by 5. Now we are going to add this little strip. Once again, it was what was left up top. I simply trimmed it down, and we are going to stick it at the bottom of our card base. Let's start with that first. And what shall we put on the inside? We're going to do the same thing, but we are going to stamp with Flirty Flamingo. And let's hope I get it right, because I've already glued it on. It's a bit wonky there, so let's straighten her up. There we have it. We're going to leave that open, and we'll set that one aside for now. So let's go ahead and glue this on the inside of our card. It's really muggy today here. The 4th was gorgeous, perfect weather. Got really nice and sunny. It wasn't blazing hot. Wasn't freezing cold. It was just a beautiful day with family. My grandson just had a blast doing fireworks. We've never had a neighbor do fireworks. We've always went and spent hundreds of dollars. My son even spent close to $1,000 on fireworks and brought them over and let them off. So we had tons of fireworks going on. It was awesome. We haven't done that since my kids were like 10 to 15 years old. So now, what shall we rearrange them a different way? I think we're going to stick with the same. We are going to mix it around. I'm going to go with the same layout, but I'm tempted to pop these up too, just because. Okay, let's do it. Let's just pop these up. Where are my bits of dimensionals, what I have left? All right, here we go. We're going to need to be a bit creative with our supplies. So there is a strip for this one and a strip there. And we'll get this piece mounted first. Looks like it's going right there. And we're going to do the Flirty Flamingo right next to it. So next we're going to do our Bermuda Bay. Just trying to match how much is around it. And last but not least, we're going to be using our Pool Party. Oh, look, I still have dimensionals left. I got a little, because it was like the exact measurements. I cannot cut straight to save my life. But that needed a little bit of trimming. That is going to be closer in, but that's all right. So next we're going to glue these down. You can see the magenta madness there in the polka dots on the print of the DSP Designer Series paper. So there is our second card. Now once again, I have an envelope that was messed up down there. So I thought we would simply put this strip like so. So I am going to put glue here, 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 and all in the center there will be a little strip at the bottom. Flip it over. Yes, it is not a Stampin' Up! Envelope because I am getting my order, and this was simply in the front of my envelope bin, and it needed to get used. So I'm using what I have, just like I know most people do. You've all seen me use my other envelopes. Now, I have that strip. I don't know what to do with. I will save it. But I do want to stamp something up here, and I think we're going to do this Made with Love right in the corner. I like that. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it here. You can go ahead and write or write your address on the rear of the card if you so choose. Oh, we need to stamp the bottom of this, and let's do it with that one-of-a-kind creation. Gorgeous. And if you have a crafting friend, this would make great cards for them. So there is card number 2. This is card number 1, which can't really, there we go. Card 2, card number 1. I'll bring you in for a closer look so you can look how cute those absolutely came out. Now, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Give it a chance. Play with your punches. See what layouts you can design, and take a chance on limited edition. Don't limit yourself. All right, and come back to see me in my wonderland. Bye-bye now.